Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All of these videos get posted on this subreddit. It's called DF Sports. I post news that all the news that comes out. There was just no news today. There was no news yesterday, so there was just like no news to post. There's like no news tomorrow too, but that'll probably change. But yeah, I post updates with all the news that comes out. People talk strategy here. Um, I post. People ask me questions. I'll respond to all of you guys, stuff like that. Also want to shout out. Let's take a look. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Here, her. Um, we had someone ship. Please advise. We had someone ship the 4 point play. Absolutely crazy. Shout out to you. That's insane. Congratulations once again. But yeah, check that out. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter at Tori Langley 1992. My best ball team. It's the last week of best ball too. I'm in second place, and I'm screwed this week because all my players are out. So, but yeah, let's take a look. Oh, and if Discord is something you're interested in, I'll have a link to that down below. So, let's take a look at my lineups from tonight. It was just a forgettable night. Just a very forgettable night for me, at least. So I played two lineups tonight. The core that I had for today, it was just bad. SGA bust, Nas Reed smash, Sengun bust, and then Precious Achua was just fine. Reached value about 5x. So 2 out of 4 on the core, just really forgettable for me. Um, yeah, it was just a weird slate. There was just no value. And I feel like I played really bad today. I think it probably made sense to go to more mid range instead of going to SGA. Like, I really like the Aaron Fox. I played him in a lineup today. I thought he was a little bit over owned, but I did really like Fox. But I also liked Chris Paul, and I also really liked Fred VanVleet. So I was having a tough time deciding. I think the move was just picking two of those guys and just not playing SGA. So I think I might have definitely made a mistake there today, paying up for SGA. The move was definitely to play two of Chris Paul, Fox, Fred VanVleet, even though Chris Paul absolutely shit the bed. 11 fantasy points is absolutely wild. So yeah, and then I rounded out my lineup with Gary Harris. He was only a pivot off like Jalen Noel and Isaiah Joe Chalk. He actually outscored them, I believe. I don't know what Noel finished with, but last time I looked, it wasn't good. Eric Gordon, he absolutely smashed, and then Chris Paul, I don't even want to talk about it. Keita Bates-Diop, he was fine, and then Precious was core, and then my other lineup, I went with it's Trey Jones gets injured. Absolutely, he had 4 assists in like 8 minutes, and I'm like, wow, he's gonna get a double double today. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna get a Trey Jones ceiling game, and then he just gets injured. And then obviously, I had Fox in this one. Once Joe was starting, I played Joe. Definitely trappy. Trusting the Oklahoma City Thunder. I went to Keldon Johnson. This guy, man, this has the whole team to himself. Just, I don't think I've ever gotten a Keldon Johnson ceiling game. I don't. It's absolutely wild. I don't think I've ever gotten one. Draymond Green, who I really liked today. He was low owned. He had an okay game. Could have been a lot better. And then obviously I went with Trey Jones. And then I had the core of Nas Reed, Precious, Sengun. I didn't have SGA in this one, but this is my main lineup with SGA. So yeah, those were my lineups tonight. I'll shout out. We do a Discord contest every day, or we've been doing it. Mystery Machine won it today with Dame Joe Harris. That's wild. Um, glad he had a good game for you. Eric Gordon, Naz Reid, Xavier Tillman, Fred Van Fleet, Keegan Murray, Alperen Sengun. Um, got big balls, trusting that Nets rotation. Um, big balls. Probably could have had a better game if that game didn't blow out either. So shooting guard was really bad. Yeah. We have a 7-game slate, I believe, for tomorrow. There's no value once again. There's a lot of studs to pay up for. We have Luka, we have Giannis, we have Jokic, we have LeBron, we have Ja. Excuse me, we have Steph, we have Anthony Davis, we have LaMelo Ball. So no value, a ton of spend ups, not a lot of good mid range in my opinion, outside of Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell. CJ McCollum, I think, is okay. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's kind of going to be like today, where you're going to have to figure out if you want to go a spend up or not with all of the stars on this slate in pretty good spots. It's going to be pretty tough, but let's go over the slate. So we have the Lakers at Indiana Pacers. It's a pretty good spot here. Surprisingly, LeBron James has been playing still extremely well, even with Anthony Davis in the offense. So if you want to keep riding the LeBron James hot streak, I wouldn't hate you for it. I definitely do prefer Anthony Davis for a little bit cheaper, and I also prefer other spin ups on the slate. I would rank Luka ahead of LeBron. I would rank Giannis ahead of LeBron. I would rank Jokic ahead of LeBron. I would rank Steph ahead of LeBron. I would rank LaMelo ahead of LeBron, point per dollar, and AD personally for me right now. So he doesn't grade as a top spend up for me on this slate, but he's definitely in play. We also have Tyrese Halliburton possibly coming back, so that could help with the blowout risk, but still a lot of blowout risk. But I think he's in play. But Anthony Davis at sub 10K, minutes on an uptick. I think he plays full minutes here in a pace up spot. I think he makes for a pretty good spend up. At sub 10K, his usage rate's absolutely insane. Obviously, most likely gets you close to a double double. Good offensive player as well. A good defender too. Can get those blocks, steals. Will probably get you 2 to 3 blocks a game. So that's already 4 to 6 points right off the bat. So I think Anthony Davis looks like a pretty good spend up to me. Westbrook, no. Schroeder, overpriced. Rui Hachimura, if he continues to start, played 35 minutes in regulation last game. If he starts, I think he's playable, but I think 5.1K seems a little bit pricey for him. But once again, there just isn't much value on this slate. Can't go to anyone else with Anthony Davis back, though. Let's move on to the Pacers. So we have Tyrese Halliburton expected to play tomorrow. Or at least I expect him to play because he's playing on the point guard returning. Yeah, so I think he plays. With him in, I expect him to be on a limit, so he's kind of out of play for me. If we can, it's his knee too, so I would be shocked if he's not on a limit. If he's full go though, I do like him, but 100% he's going to be on the limit. So he's unplayable to me. And that also takes guys like McConnell, Hield, Mathurin, Nemhart, Naismith, all out of play for me with Halliburton back. Same with Miles Turner. I probably wouldn't go to him either. So with Tyrese Halliburton back, the Pacers are a just complete cross-off to me. So this game is just groggy, man. Two very good defenses. Cleveland plays very slow. Scrappy team as well. Same with Memphis. So Ja Morant at the top, been playing extremely well too. Almost had 3 triple doubles in a row. I don't think he's a favorite spend up of mine, but he's always in play. He's obviously matchup proof. But Cleveland is just a team that I don't really like targeting. You guys obviously know this. They have also been one of the worst teams to have. Cleveland has been the best at stopping opposing point guards for fantasy, if I recall correctly. So it's just really not a good spot for Ja Morant. But personally for me, I'll pass, but he's definitely in play. Bane at 7.5 seems priced about right, maybe a little bit too pricey for me. Jaren, no. They started Tillman at the 5 today. If they start him again at the 5, I think he's a solid value play. Once again, there's just no value on this slate. Decent point per minute guy. Definitely did gain a few minutes tonight from Brandon Clark foul trouble, I want to say. But if he starts, I definitely expect him to play over probably 25-ish minutes, which will make him a solid value. If he doesn't start, I wouldn't touch him. And if Brandon Clark starts, I think he's appropriately priced. Let's move on to Cleveland. So this price on Mitchell just has me very, 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 very intrigued. I mean, it's not a good matchup, but come on. 8.1K for Donovan Mitchell is just too cheap. If anyone disagrees with that, they're just lying. They're lying to your face. So I think Mitchell's a pretty good play. Has point guard, shooting guard eligibility as well. He's just too cheap in my opinion. So I do like Mitchell quite a bit. Garland, no, would much rather play Mitchell. Obviously, and then Mitchell has shooting guard eligibility as well, which even gives him a bigger boost in my opinion. No Steven Adams on the other side, so I think it's a good spot for Jared Allen. I think he's an okay play at 6.3. Mobley, no, would much rather play Allen. Karis LeVert had a big game when Mitchell is back, which is just the epitome of DFS, but can't really go there with those two back. His usage rate is just absolutely terrible. I'm not going to consider Ricky Rubio on this slate. I know he was pretty popular last slate and he smashed for the drawers, but I think there will definitely be better value that opens up. Let's move on to Miami. So tough spot here. Both teams play slow. Both teams play pretty good defensively. Bam, nothing more than a contrarian play. One of the tougher spots for bigs in this league. So I have no interest in Bam tomorrow. Butler's price just keeps going down. Soon enough, he's gonna have a pretty big game. Like, if you told me Butler had over 40 fantasy points tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd probably play him at this price. If he got over 40. He definitely has 50 fantasy point upside as well. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Very, very good defender. Can get those all too important steals. So, I think Butler's fine. I think he's a little bit too cheap. Harrow, no. Um, no, no. Slap me, please slap me. If I ever think about clicking Kyle Lowry's name, we also have Oladipo. Question doubtful. I'm interested to see who would get those minutes if Gabe Vincent plays. Maybe Gabe Vincent would get those minutes. I'm not entirely sure. So just keep an eye on that. I would assume he would definitely benefit from it, though. Maybe we could have some value here, but not entirely sure. Let's move on to the Knicks. So tough spot here, but the minutes. Randall, Brunson, these two are going to lead the way offensively. They're both going to play absolutely huge minutes, so they are in play for me. I don't like the spot, though, but they definitely are in play. RJ Barrett's minutes have been way up and down the way. Got into early foul trouble here, and they didn't close with him. I think they go back to closing with him, and he plays over 30 minutes. I think he's interesting for GPPs, but not someone I'm going to go out of my way to play. Quickly at 5'4", I think probably plays over 25 minutes. Good point per minute guy. He'll run some of that second unit with some time when the starters are on the bench, which is like none. I think he's playable. And then Jericho Sims most likely starts. He got into massive foul trouble last game. Super low usage guy, an okay value. Hartenstein actually played a lot more when Sims got into foul trouble, and they actually closed with him. I wonder if they start Hart here. If they start Hartenstein, he's going to be one of the better value plays on the slate. So keep an eye on that. I feel like there's a chance they could start Isaiah Hartenstein here, especially against Bam Adebayo. So just keep an eye on that. Let's move over to Charlotte. So it's a good spot here, pace up spot. Both teams play pretty fast. I think LaMelo Ball looks really good to me at 9.6K. If they want any chance of keeping this game close, gonna have to be a pretty big game from LaMelo, and he's gonna play huge minutes. So I think LaMelo Ball point per dollar looks like one of the better plays above 9K. Terry Rozier is playable, but definitely takes a usage hit with LaMelo Ball back. Plumlee, PJ, they just seem like pretty safe plays to me. Don't really stand out. They're both going to be low owned like they are every slate. Seems like Plumlee will probably get you close to 40 fantasy points, which is great at this price tag. But he does have these type of games in him where he'll only get you like 20 to 30, which is definitely not good at 6.5K. But I think he's okay. I don't love it. Don't love the bigs here. Gordon Hayward, I definitely do have interest in. Minutes have gone up the last, so he went from 24 to 25, from 25 to 26, from 26 to 27. If we're going to get close to 30 minutes here from Gordon Hayward, I definitely do have some interest. Now, not a phenomenal point per minute guy, but a solid point per minute guy. Probably off the top of my head, I want to say he averages like 0.8, 0.9 fantasy points per minute. I would have to look, but excuse me. but I would assume it would be around there. And you don't need much at 5.3K if he's going to play close to 30 minutes. So I think Gordon Hayward is definitely someone I have interest in tomorrow for value, with not a lot of value on this slate. Mark Williams will play the backup five, but I don't think we'll need to go there on the slate. I feel like more value will open up. So it's a really good spot here for Vooch. Last time I played him against the Charlotte Hornets, he went for 25 freaking fantasy points, but he's been back on a tear of late. Last two games, 54, 53 fantasy points. They're playing huge minutes. I don't know if those went to OT or not. I don't think they did. So I think Vooch looks like a solid contrarian spend up on this slate. If I was playing 150 lineups or 20 lineups, I would definitely have some exposure to Vooch. DeMar, Levine, more just secondary plays for me. I do prefer DeMar to Levine. Patrick Williams seems a bit pricey for my liking, but he'll probably play around 30 minutes, but more out there for his defense. The guards, Caruso, Io, Kobe, they're running like a three-headed monster. Caruso, definitely the safest. Kobe White, the higher point per minute guy between the three, but will play the least. And then Io is just my least favorite. All right, tough spot here for the Pelicans, but the pricing on Ingram just really stands out to me. So CJ at 7.6K is fine. I much prefer Ingram, though. I think he's okay, but Ingram here at 7.1K played 33 minutes last game. I think we get close to normal minutes from Brandon Ingram here at shooting guard at 7.1K. I think he looks really good to me as a mid-range option. He's the highest usage guy on this team outside of Zion Williamson, guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He'll have the ball in his hands a decent amount as well. I think he's too cheap, so I do like me some Brandon Ingram quite a bit tomorrow. Just Valanciunas, it's strictly GPP only. The price is cheap, but the minutes are just absolutely wild, so you don't know what you're going to get from him. Could absolutely kill you, could play 25 plus minutes and win you a tournament. So GPP only with Jonas Valanciunas. Herb Jones is overpriced. They actually were playing Juancho Hernangomez some at the backup five last game. They had Larry Nance playing more of the four. So with Larry Nance going to more of the four, if they play Hernangomez as the backup five again, I probably don't want to go to Nance. I don't know if he played the backup five in the fourth quarter, because he had an absolutely huge fourth quarter. Actually, let's just take a look. They don't have it up. That's fucking great. But they played Hernangomez 9 minutes. So 9 of those minutes, Hernangomez got the backup five. Jonas Valanciunas only played 19 minutes. So I would assume Nance got some backup five. But if most of his minutes aren't going to be as the backup five, that definitely hurts him. Also got priced up. But once again, there's not a lot of value. Like if I knew Hernangomez would DMP and Nance would get all of the backup five run, I would definitely have interest in him, and I would think he would be an okay value play. So him playing more of the four instead of the five definitely can hurt him. So we'll see what they do with Hernangomez. We'll see. Alvarado, no. Murphy, no. Najee Marshall, no. All right, guys. Dallas here. So Luka, if you have the money for him, I think makes for one of the better spend ups on the slate. I think I rank Jokic ahead of him point per dollar, but he looks really good. Dinwiddie's overpriced. Tim Hardaway Jr. is overpriced. Dorian Finney-Smith more out there for his defense, but he'll also play huge minutes. I think he's okay. Not a lot of value, so perfectly fine going there. And then with no Christian Wood, Dwight Powell will start at the 5. Probably plays mid-20s minutes. Not a fun roster, but a pretty safe value play in my opinion. And that'll be it for Dallas. Let's move on to the Warriors. So it's a back-to-back here for the Warriors. We're going to have to see if they're going to be resting anyone. I would assume Klay Thompson rests, but there have been spots where they have just rested the whole team. So we'll have to monitor that, but with no Klay Thompson. Did I say Steph when I said was going over Klay? I don't think Klay plays. It's a back-to-back. So Steph's been on another level of late. Just been absolutely insane, playing huge minutes. As well, this game went into overtime, so he played 38 minutes in regulation. I think it makes for a good spend up. It's my same analysis as always, that like I always like Steph for GPPs because he's going to be low owned. He has the same amount of upside as everybody else on this slate, so I always like me some Steph for GPPs at low ownership. With Clay out, I think you could definitely consider Poole. Not my favorite play. And then I assume Kevon Looney will start at the 5. He would be a playable value, but it's a tough spot going up against Nikola Jokic. And then with Draymond most likely sliding back to the 4, I don't have as much interest. And I kind of like Andrew Wiggins at 5.8K. Played 35 minutes tonight, albeit wasn't overtime. Pretty sure it went overtime, right? Yeah, it went overtime. So 30 minutes in regulation. Seems like he's been more aggressive of late. So I think Andrew Wiggins is a pretty safe play at 5.8K. Let's move on to Denver. So Jokic looks amazing at this price tag. I think it's too cheap in my opinion. So Jokic right now, definitely probably my favorite spend up on the slate. So love Jokic. Murray's fine at 7.7K. We have Gordon questionable if he's out. That's probably more minutes for guys like Bruce Brown, MPJ, basically the main guys. Would have interest in Bruce if Gordon's out, and I'm not going to get to anyone else. Maybe Jeff Green gets a few more minutes if Aaron Gordon's out. Let's see what they do with the starting lineup. They could start Bruce. They could start Jeff. They could do a number of things, but I don't really think it would change much for me. Let's move on to the Clippers. So really tough spot for the Clippers. Kawhi, Paul George, I don't really have too much interest in. They'll be really low owned, so if you want to go there, that's fine. Powell, no. Zubac in this matchup, no. If Morris is out, you can consider guys like Batum, who I think would be an okay value. But we also have Robert Covington back, so not much on the Clippers. Reggie Jackson's like a fine dart, but yeah, not much on the Clippers. Let's move over to Milwaukee. So not a good spot here, but Giannis is always in play for me. Matchup proof, probably plays low to mid 30s minutes, good rebounder, good defender. One of the best point per minute guys in basketball. So he's always in play for me. Drew, overpriced for me. Brello, not in this spot. Don't like it. Pat Connaughton seems priced about right. Maybe a little bit overpriced. Chris Middleton played 20 minutes last game. Here's the thing. With no value, I definitely think he's into consideration. Obviously, he's on a limit. So maybe if the minutes go up to like 22, I would have some interest just because he's a really good point per minute guy, especially when he's going to run the second unit coming off the bench. So I definitely do have some interest in Middleton. It's definitely risky with him being on a limit, but if I knew he was going to play close like 22 to 25 minutes tomorrow, I would say he probably pays off this price tag. So some interest in Middleton, but definitely risky. Grayson, I think, is okay, pretty scoring reliant. Joe Ingles, another guy that's just like there for me. Another puke value that's like okay because we just have no value on the slate. So that'll do it for the video, guys. I hope you had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.